Hi everybody, this is Line Space. This is note-taking. This is not the normal kind of screen we open up on. Turns out I maxed out my drive. So I just deleted so many videos. Fairly certain that I haven't lost anything that's actually relevant, because I have as many episodes as I should, still having their recording saved, so yeah. What did we miss? Tammy and Cal are now a couple. That was coming. That's not surprising. Anemone is into Vase, the angry kid, and is, really not a part of our friend group anymore, almost. It's weird, but she did make sure to come see us on her birthday, so that was nice. And Rex, who I snubbed, I now feel bad for, and now we're playing a game of cards. And he is super horny. Let's just play the game, because you have missed the context, because the recording died, and there were other problems, and thankfully, there wasn't too much lost. You play out the rest of the cards, staying fairly even in points until Rex is left with only one card, and you have two. You're trailing, but not by much. If you play your low card for an easy win, you'll gain enough points to make it a draw. If you gamble on the slightly higher card in your hand, you might lose entirely, but you could win. Empathy 41 or higher, we got that. You scrutinize Rex. You're not sure why, but you get the sense he's not really confident he'll win this hand. If you want to win, you should play a high card. Let's win this. You put down your higher of your two cards, and Rex shouts, "Are you for real?" He laughs. "That was a really risky play. You're lucky I only had a high card left." He turns over his card. "It's even higher than yours." You win the game by a comfortable margin. Rex tidies up the cards, biting his lip with one little fang as he darts you a coy look. "So, want to cash in that bet, winner?" Yeah, speaking of which, Rex bet us for a kiss, and I changed my mind because of how he talked about everybody else. Vissa got very flustered about it, and then realized that, I'm not special. It's my personal problem with dogs, is they don't make me feel special, they just love everyone. Rex's expression changes instantly back to neutral friendly, completely unbothered. "Oh, sure," he replies. "You ever change your mind and want to collect, you let me know." He winks at you. "I'm happy owing you one." We're in early pollen, and pollen means that we're going to go making a trip. That hole has to appear again. This might just be a matter of I want it to, but it feels like it needs to show up again just for the sheer sake of being able to finish and being able to cure the glimmer. It feels like it's just too big a piece. I hope. It was our first time ever getting injured, and can't just let it go. I refuse to just let it go. Let's hear. You've been saved a few times from certain doom, or at least discomfort, and it can't have been a coincidence. Something or someone has taken an interest in you. You're being followed. You can get a feeling for this place and its dangers. So the next time you hear the hiss-click of a nest of hungry snap ladders, you walk straight towards it, keeping an eye out for anyone watching you from the trees. There, just as you think you're going to have to climb into the damn nest to get your savior to show up, you see a shadowy humanoid figure darting behind a tree. Make eye contact and you both freeze. His almond-shaped eyes widen in his not-quite-human face, and he slips away into the jungle. Track him carefully. We are not going to catch him by rushing. Rather than rush after him, you use your tracking skills to carefully follow his path and sneak up on him. You pounce like a manticore, and the two of you tumble to the ground. You pin his arms. Well, that's a heartthrob. You get a good look at his face for the first time. The long, delicate features, the odd tone of his skin, almost purple, and his glittering alien eyes. Before he can answer your questions, you jump off of him and back away. Who? What is he? Well, so we're assuming a lot here as far as gender goes. He brushes the dirt from his clothes and stands up tall. Very tall. You have to take another step back to get a good look at him. You catch a glimpse of a pale purple wrist under his tattooed black sleeves. Delicate, like bird bones. I am a gardener, he purrs, and you're trespassing on my planet. Now that you can see all of him, confirm he's definitely not human. Besides the purple tint of his skin, he's also just constructed differently. Human, but not, and taken as a whole, those little discrepancies add up to something that is decidedly alien. You're an alien. He laughs, a light and infectious chuckle that sounds more animal than human. It goes on for a bit too long. You think he might be poking fun at you. Actually, you're the alien here, if you think about it. You do think about it. He's right. He jumps onto a large rock and crouches, eyeing you thoughtfully. Let's make a deal, he says. He speaks with an odd inflection, putting the wrong stress on things, but the words themselves come easily enough to him. I'm not supposed to talk to you, he says. It's against the rules. But since you've caught me, I can grant you one wish. He smiles mischievously. This is a joke. I wish to know more about you. I wish for 1,000 kudos. I wish you'd stop laughing at me. I wish to know more about you. He gives you a sly look. In time, Visa. I hope we... He pauses, and his eyes unfocus for a moment. He stares straight ahead, unblinking, and he slowly stretches like a cat and stands up. Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid duty calls. He doffs an invisible hat towards you. My name is Symbiosis, by the way, or Sim, if you like. Mysterious man who appears when you need him most. He jumps behind the rock and disappears. Literally, he disappeared. You search all around and you can find no trace of where he might have gone or how. Stars, you just met an alien! Oh, and he's still here. You're walking up a trail when you're caught by surprise. It's Sim! And he's running? You knock to the side as he pushes past you, running in the opposite direction with barely a glance. You shout and chase after him, but after a few seconds it becomes clear you don't have a hope of finding Sim when he doesn't want to be found. You turn and continue along the path, and around the next bend you spot a familiar face. Utopia. She's collecting rock samples with a pickaxe, like an old-timey prospector. Who the hell was that? She demands. Who? I didn't see anyone. That's just... Who? I didn't see anyone. I think it's best if we don't say. Utopia squints at you. The man who just ran past. The tall guy, dressed in black. How did you not see him? She hikes her pickaxe off her shoulder. Whatever. Just watch where you're running, okay? The gravel's loose around here. And maybe check in with Doc Instance. Get your eyes looked at. You agree, happy to be out of this conversation without any trouble, and continue on along the path before Utopia asks any more questions. You walk for a couple minutes before you see Sim again. He seems to be in good humor despite the close call. Oh, he says, leaning against a tree. It is tiresome to be so secretive. He wipes his eyes, brimming with mirth. It is such a pleasure to be around you and Dis, and to not have to hide myself. Of course you've talked to Dis. He sobers quickly. I do appreciate your discretion, he says. It is not the right time for the gardeners to be formally introduced. To do so too early would cause a great degree of chaos. Yes, even the female surveyor, he continues. I do like her, but I have learned from my limited experience with your kind that adults of your species do not react well to surprises. It is good you're here, though, Sim continues, as I do need something from you. Data. What? Sim holds up his hands. Please do not be alarmed, he says placatingly. I do not mean sensitive information, such as personnel and defenses. I mean only the contents of your digital cultural archive. Like, holovids? Sim smiles. Yes, exactly. The holographic recordings of movies, music, books. Cultural artifacts only, I promise. Why? Well, Sim says, isn't it obvious? I wish to know more about your kind. I wish to learn how to... He struggles for the right phrasing. I wish to learn how to act in a way that is not so discomforting to humans. Sure. I know the pain of not knowing how to talk to people. Sim's gentle smile grows warmer. Truly? He asks, clasping his hands. Oh, I thought it would take a great deal more convincing. You are surprising. It's such a pleasure. You tell Sim that you can likely find a mem drive in engineering and fill it with the data he wants. That you have a few questions of your own, but you request payment of another kind, and bid him farewell. The game wants me to flirt with everybody. You have a few questions of your own. That's fair, Sim says. It must be frustrating to feel as though the truth is being withheld from you. Ignorance is not a yoke your kind bears easily. Please trust me when I say that my inability to answer your questions is born of circumstances beyond my control and not a lack of desire on my part, he continues. I have full faith that you will know everything soon enough. Man, imagine losing that particular piece of... oh... Glad that I didn't lose meeting Dis amongst the lost recording. Did you bring what I asked? Sim is standing in the shadows, wrapped up in his clothes like he's trying to blend into the jungle. He looks like a vid actor pretending to be shifty. Guess he's asking about the data here. Here, I brought you something. It's not that, but I brought you something else. I brought you cake. Enjoy cake. No surprise, he likes cake. Oh, yeah, we can be friends with him. A cake! Sim exclaims. A most wonderful human invention. He turns around in his hand, sniffs it, and then takes a fingerful of frosting and puts it in his mouth. Fantastic, he shouts again as he hands the cake back to you. I enjoyed that immensely. I hope the others you share with will like it just as much as I did. Did I not lose that? I didn't lose the cake. Okay. Neat. We'll be back, hopefully next month, with what he's looking for. Right now, I don't care if it's something he's responsible for or not, as a gardener. I'm going to go and try and break that machine. Oh no! That's not a hole in the ground. You come across a terrible scene. A manticore has cornered a little hopeye and is playing with it, batting around and catching it over and over. The hopeye is screeching in terror. It's a horrible thing to watch. Try to break up the fight. Hey, something that turns things red. 6, 6, and 6. Always a solid start. It's a 15. Sure, because I can. Yeah, that's... We are so much more than we need to be able to kill, to be able to accomplish these things. 7, 6... Nope, wrong 6. Right 6. +1 bravery. You quietly climb up into a tree first. Manticores can't climb trees. You're pretty sure you remember hearing that. They'll try to scare the attacker away by hooting and throwing rocks. Ugh. You put on your scary face and try to frighten it away. The manticore is so annoyed by your throwing rocks and making a ruckus that it turns its attention to you. It roars in anger. Shivers of rear run up your spine. That's definitely a better scary face than yours. The hopeye, who had been playing dead, suddenly leaps to its feet and bounds off into the jungle. The manticore is now very angry with you. It rears up and digs its claws into your tree. You hold on for dear life as the tree shakes. It roars and ruffles its mane at you, pacing back and forth into the tree, then sniffs around where the hopeye had been, grunts one last time in frustration, and wanders off into the jungle. You stay in that tree for another full hour before you dare to come down. Scary, but you saved the little hopeye's life. Alright, Squidly, let's see if there's anything else to pick up before we go back. I'm gonna guess that's a no. Looks like it's a no. I heard a float cow grazing nearby. Watch them peacefully bob along. Yeah, let's capture another one. Typically good for the colony when we can. Oh, and we have a nice, easy one there. Let's just make that big. Sure. Yeah, let's... Oh! Oops, my way into a kudos. Ugh. I don't care about lassoing the float cow. I so don't care about lassoing the float cow. Okay. More things to remove from the deck. It's fine. It's fine. Man, the Manticore is so underwhelming compared to what I'm trying to find. Go home. You're back. +3 perception, +2 biology. You're woken by the buzzing of your holopalm. It's a colony-wide alert. You rub your eyes and ponder the thickness of the air seeping into your bedroom through the open veranda door. It's an ominous but beautiful sight. The seasonal pale pink haze has turned into a deep fuchsia with scintillating silver sparkles floating through it. The shimmer. Check your holopalm messages. There's a colony-wide notice telling you to stay put. Head to medbay. You rush to the engineering wing, trying to hold your breath as you pass through the thick clouds of pink, sparkling pollen. Gotta make sure Dad's okay. Fury Chief Red blocks your way into medbay. What are you doing here? You should be in your quarters. From medbay, you hear the sound of sneezing. Your dad's sneezing. You shout for him and squirm and try and get past Red, but he practically lifts you off the ground. You fight until he lets you through. Oh no. No. Hey, little aubergine. Your dad rasps. He looks terrible. He's covered in the shimmer and is shaking as he takes pained breaths. Chief Engineer Instance glares at you, but doesn't tell you to leave right away. You sit beside your father's bedside. Your dad grabs your hand and pulls you close. Your awareness narrows to just the two of you, the rest of the room falling away under the gravity you feel when he locks pink-rimmed eyes with yours. This, my sweet little cherry tomato, he says, trying to smile for you. I don't think your old man's gonna last much longer. You sob and try to pull away in denial, but he just shakes his head. You're gonna make it through this, he wheezes, his voice brittled as a dried flower. I love you so much. Instance tries to separate you so she can administer something, but your dad waves her away. He hasn't stopped staring right at you. Are the greatest thing I ever cultivated, he chokes out. You're going to be fine. I love. His eyes roll back in his head, and the medbed lets out a horrible droning whine. Instance yells at you to leave so she can save him, and you flee the room. When they finally let you see him again, your dad is lying on a medbed, asleep. The shimmer is all over him now, and his skin is glittery and strangely lumpy, like something's growing out of it. Something is growing out of him, you realize as you see Instance carefully scrape what looks like fungus from his shoulder. She places it in a petri dish and hands it to Tangent. There are tiny fungal growths all over him, even one poking out from the corner of his mouth. You watch with disgust as a thin trickle of glittering pink dust leaks off the tip of it and disappears into the air. Tang places the sample from your dad under an analyzer and turns it on. She looks tired. I'm sorry, Vessa, she mumbles. We were close. Yeah, that's pretty fitting. You sit with him for a while until Dr. Instance sends you back to your quarters to rest. In the early hours of the morning, you hear that your dad has passed away. You spend most of the next month in your quarters. I kept talking about Vissa fighting so hard because she didn't want to lose anyone else. And now here it is. The last person she had to lose. They hold a funeral for your father. You are becoming an old hand at these funerals. Uncle Tonin, Calm, and everyone else who's died in an attack. Feels like your own mother's funeral was only weeks ago. It's so colossally unfair. No one quite knows what to say to you, though they grieve along with you. It doesn't make it any easier. Auntie Sedent and all the other adults of the colony will always be here for you, but you guess you're an orphan now. You miss your dad. You miss your mom, too. Mostly, you just sleep. One morning, Chief Engineer Instance asks you to visit her in the medbay. You go, because you don't have the energy to say no. I have to tell you something delicate about your father's condition, Vissa. She begins, folding her hands on her desk. I hope this information will give you some comfort. After your father's death, we continue to research the shimmer, she continues, her voice even and neutral. Being able to study the disease in its terminal phase and beyond was the missing piece. We now know how to prevent the shimmer from taking hold in human cells, she says, a faint smile not quite reaching her eyes. With cultures grown from your father's cell lineage, everyone in the colony can be inoculated against the shimmer. Thanks to your father, we have a cure. Be numb. It's okay to feel that way, Instance tells you, with uncharacteristic kindness that you find comforting. Grief is different for everyone. If you need more time to rest, nobody will mind. Yeah, Vista just can't even do anything. Sim asked you for data on human culture. Television, shows, music, books, things like that. You have unlimited access to Congruence's media archives through your hollow palm, but for Sim it will be a little more complicated. You need to find a physical storage unit with enough memory to contain a chunk of the hollow archives. Steal one! The robot workshop would be a good place to look. You sneak in, nobody around. Good. You rummage around until you find what looks like a portable hollow unit in a drawer, then find a port in the wall to plug it into. An interface pops up with options to copy data onto the tiny drive. Perfect. You start by carefully copying your favorite vids and games, then realize there's a shit ton more room on this tiny device. You sweep in several thousand more vids, as well as the entire contents of the school's Learningpedia. As you slip the unit into your pocket, the Congruence console above you suddenly flickers and lights up. Congruence seems amused. She doesn't sound an alarm, although you know you shouldn't be in here, but asks in a neutral voice, "What are you doing in here, Vissa?" I just came to see you. Plus 0 persuasion. Congruence allows her expression to show doubt, though she seems flattered. You chat for a bit, then she tells you to get out before you get in trouble. She seems to be lonely. Can an artificial intelligence get lonely? It's something you've never really thought about before. Guess she must miss Professor Hal quite a bit. Get rid of the 2. Maybe part of why I'm struggling with the game, this particular recording, is a lot has happened. There's been a lot of grief, and the switch to the Helios showing up has been honestly kind of hard to adjust to. Man, based on my own experiences, trying to talk to Tammy and Cal would be impossible right now. Tangent looks about ready to collapse. "I'm sorry about your dad," she mumbles. "We tried so hard. So hard," she repeats to herself as if you're not even there. "I still don't know what you want. Can't give you anything either." Anemone, you're my best friend." Nem nods at you as you approach. "Sorry about your dad," she says with a sympathetic but slightly distant smile. "He was cool." Nomi? Nomi fishes something out of their pocket and hands it to you. A rumpled white origami crane. So sorry about your dad," they stumble. "He seemed like a pretty cool guy." Where's Dis? Hi, Dis. Dis shifts uncomfortably from foot to foot. Sorry about your dad," he mutters. He looks out towards the wilderness. "Pollen's really thick in the Valley of Vertigo, too," he adds. "Sometimes people in expeditions would get kinda weird about it. Guess that's not gonna happen anymore, now that they figured out the shimmer. And you've given us what we're doing this month." "Oh, I'm not allowed to, because I'm still in mourning." "Okay. Well, maybe we can play some sports ball. Take comfort in something from when we were younger. Play sports ball. Nobody comes to talk to me while I play. Kind of a bummer." Also, we have a shockingly not great hand. But we got to the super goal, so we'll take it. +4 bravery. That maxes out our bravery. Yeah, I might just be emotionally worn out by how much the game has thrown at me. New perk. Extra card draw. Draw an extra card at the start of challenge. Hey! That's pretty good. Nem takes a big pull from her canteen, sighs and rubs the back of her hand over her mouth. I got something for you. That's your birthday present this time. God, if I called the episode here, it would be so early, but it is hard to continue. Not in any kind of superficial way. It's in this recording session, both Mom and Dad have died and the whole colony got destroyed. It's kind of a lot. Kind of a lot. Just gonna take these 2 cards out of the deck. Probably should have taken out put on your scary face, but it's fine for now. Hey, Dis. You and Dis are sitting on the tailgate of one of the expedition's vehicles, shelling bobber seeds with your teeth and spitting the hard bits on the ground. Now and then, one of you points out something funny a passing surveyor does, or spots something under the mush trees. This is the easiest way to talk to Dis, by not talking at all. This has always been like this. Being isolated from the other kids has made him thoughtful. Out of everyone, you think Dis might understand about Sim, and be able to keep the secret. You tell him, I trust him. Where are we at with Dis's friendship? You tell Dis that you saw something interesting when you were out on an expedition. Dis perks up immediately, turning to look at you. Yeah? He asks. What? I met an alien, Dis. His jaw drops and his face goes an interesting color. You're worried for a moment that he's going to be upset with you for teasing him, but... No way! Dis hisses, leaning in. But I met an alien too, Vissa. What was yours like? Like us, but alien. He describes him. His long dark hair, his big eyes, his faintly purple skin, the way he never seems to answer any of your questions. Dis stares at your face. Wait, you met Sim too? You nod and Dis's hands fly to his hair. He said he met another human girl, but he didn't say who it was. It was you this whole time? He made me swear I wouldn't tell anyone else, Dis says earnestly. It's a weird expression on him. He said if other humans found out about the gardeners, we'd all be in a lot of danger. So, we can talk about Sim, but we have to keep it a secret. So the Western Ridge ruins. Yeah, I'm sure the gardeners are related to those ruins somehow. He shakes his head. I asked Sim if the gardeners built what used to be there. He said the ruins built the gardeners. He's always speaking in riddles. Okay, this will be our secret. Dis nods, looking serious. Good, he says simply, then repeats it. Good. Go back to shelling bobber seeds in silence, watching the colony go about its business. Let's go survey the ridge. Long walking time. You're about to set off on your gliders when Dis stops you. Actually, he says, looking around furtively, I want to show you a place I found when I was scouting. You look up from your holomap. It's not on any map yet, he says. It's special. I want to show you because I think you're the only person in the colony who will understand what it means. You and Dis set off, hoping for a few hours before the trackers in your holopalms ping Utopia that you're not where you said you'd be. After a short trek off map, Dis takes you to a round door set into the side of a cliff. Oh, hoping for a few hours before the tracker... I'm not sure what that sentence is supposed to be. The door is glossy black and made of something that's part bone and part stone, like the rest of the Convergent Domain architecture you've seen. Unlike the ruins, this place looks, well, not new, but definitely well maintained. Dis touches his fingers to the center of the door and it dilates like an iris, previously unseen seams folding in on themselves with a noise that like rocks grinding together. Inside is a lumpy, smooth tunnel that reminds you unpleasantly of intestines. It looks like you could barely fit in there on hands and knees. An unexpectedly cool wind ruffles your hair. Dive in first! Let's go! You both crawl and inch your way through the tunnel to where the cave opens up about 10 or 15 meters in. That's a very familiar room right there. You stand in a cave that looks part organic and part intentional. A curious mixture of almost organic-looking stone growths, crystals, and glowing mushrooms in a riot of iridescent oil-slick colors, some of which look like they could be controls for an ancient bioweapon. Oh... Your view deeper into the cave is obscured by layer-caked stalagmite pillars. Everything is dark but for the eerie glow. You're using your holopalms as flashlights, but it's air-conditioned. Cool, fresh air is blowing from vents in the floor. I haven't figured out what this place is for yet, Dis says, touching a mushroom with his fingertip. It puffs out a cloud of glowing spores and he sneezes. You spread out to see if you can decipher this place. Like, what the heck is it? Glowing thingy on the ground. Another strange device. Glowy thingy on the ground. Writing on the wall. There's a huge faceted crystal plate embedded in the wall, engraved with deep glyphs. Convergent domain writing, you guess, and some kind of map. There are lines between the symbols. You trace your hand over it, but you can't make any sense of it. And now the console. If it's a screen, it's all dark, like when congruence isn't active. Unlike congruence's colorful, decorated chassis, this is a decidedly alien tech feel. You fiddle around, touching things at random. Don't do that! Hisses Dis, but nothing happens. What if I did this? Dis makes a shocked noise as the reality of the cave melts away and you find yourself back in the depot. No, not back. Not entirely. You can still feel the cool, moist breath of the cave on your cheeks. You can still smell the funk of the mushrooms. But everything else is exactly as you'd expect, as real as if you could reach out and touch it. You feel embodied, like you can feel the pressure of your feet 4 feet on the ground. Utopia walks through Dis, rematerializing on the other side to talk to one of the other surveyors. Dis passes his hand through her image with amazing. Are they spying on us? He breathes. The image of Utopia doesn't seem to hear him. You take your hands off the controls and the cave returns. Dis blinks at you in the sun gloom. What the hell was that? He says. It was like we were really there. Like we were seeing out of the eyes of some kind of animal. Like we were the animal! Are the gardeners spying on us? Sim says they have eyes everywhere, Dis says. I didn't know he meant literally. We can't let Utopia know about this, he continues. We have to keep Sim's secrets. We're to keep this monitoring station a secret. I hope that's all it is. Alright. And that wasn't considered one of the super important spots. That wasn't an orange. Looking for the orange and for items. What are the strange devices for? What? Don't know. And strange devices are definitely a very sudden mystery that no one is seems to be properly acknowledging. Maybe it's just me, but alien technology that's slightly radioactive seems relevant. Also, I guess carrying this many of them is probably going to give us cancer. Probably. Well, there's Dis, and Dis needs something from us. So, let's talk to Dis. For once you see... Sorry, Sim. For once you see Sim before he sees you. He's crouched just off the path, staring at a flower, his face blank. He doesn't react as you approach, so you watch him for a while. He's so perfectly motionless you'd think he was a plant too. His eyes are unfocused. Is he accessing some kind of mental interface? Eventually you clear your throat. Sim carefully stands up and turns to face you. For a moment you're not sure if he recognizes you. Then he tosses his head and a grin leaps to his face. Vissa! You caught me checking in with the boss. You have a boss? My boss. As I told you, they aren't fond of change, he replies. They're also very much like your boss. What's she named? Utopia? He tilts his head to the side. Her name word is fitting, isn't it? He lays one finger against his chin. I appreciate that she always reminds you not to get yourself killed. I wish you'd listen to her. I can take care of myself. Sim replies. His eyebrow arcs eloquently. I'm not sure you realize just how many times I've had to help you with that. If the boss finds out I'm talking to you, I'd be in trouble, so shh, he murmurs and puts his fingers to his lips. And why keep talking to me? Sim smiles warmly. Because you're the girl of my dreams, literally, he replies. I can't seem to stay away from you. And because you humans are different, he continues. I'm so bored of everyone else on this planet. The other gardeners, my boss, they have everything on Vertumna just the way they like it, and don't want the teeniest thing to change, he sighs. It's boring. See that tree? Sim points to a large tree with many long limbs dripping from it and embedded in the ground. That tree was a small creature for part of its life cycle. You call it the Fricky. Once it plants its roots, that's where it stays for the rest of its life. The gardeners spend time as trees do, sometimes hundreds of years. If you do that enough, you start to think like a tree, set in your ways. He spreads his hands, an earnest expression on his face. When I watch you, When I talk to you and learn about your species, I feel inspired. I feel young again. Hold on, you can shapeshift? Don't you think my looking human is a bit of a coincidence? He replies, and motions to his body with a sensual flick of his wrist. It is a rather handsome body, though, don't you think? I happen to think I did quite well, if you say so. This is not going to give it to you that easy, man. You have so many more questions for this man, or gardener, or whatever he is, but as soon as you open your mouth to ask another, Sim cocks his head as if listening and holds up a hand. I'm sorry, he says, looking for all the world like he's listening to the dang flower, but I must away. And with that, he's gone, off to protect the wild, or rescue damsels, or whatever. Or maybe he's just avoiding your questions. I have the thing. I knew it, Sim exclaims. I dreamed about it last night in my vat. In your what now? Sim waves his hands dismissively. Never mind, let me have the data drive. Answer a question first. Sim sighs and crosses his arms, but from his smile you can tell he's amused by your little game. Okay, I'll answer exactly one question, he allows. What is it? Do other people know about you? Do the gardeners want to hurt us? What's with those thumping ruins? Do the gardeners want to hurt us? Sim sighs. I hoped your question was going to be a fun one. He takes a breath and answers, carefully. It's not that we want to hurt you, he replies. It's not personal, or even malicious. It's like dealing with an invasive species. Sometimes you need to resort to harsh methods to remove it before it destroys the ecosystem. He holds his hand out expectantly. Perhaps that's not the answer you wish to hear, he says gently. It's not our fault you are the way you are. You hand over the data drive and Sim takes it reverently, staring as if he could see what's inside. Why don't I get the choice to say no after he's told me something like that? That sounds like he's sending the monsters. Marvelous, he says. Like a genetic payload, except with digital data instead of organic. What will I learn from this trove, I wonder? He's still puzzling over the implications of the phrase genetic payload as he continues. The other gardeners are so tedious and obsessed with their work, he complains. They're more concerned with maintaining equilibrium than experiencing new things. They don't understand that novelty is what makes life interesting. He slips the data drive into his sleeve. Thank you, Vissa. I will treasure this. What friendship does that put us at? Still 4. I mean, I guess I can give him cake again. I guess I gave him cake again. Shrug. Thank you. Want the crystal clusters. Need to have gifts for Naomi. Should be this way to get to... Oh, more towards the end, I guess, is the correct way to put it, since this place is so big. What's this? Oh, it's just the big thing blocking our way again. Oh. Sad. Sad. Let's just do a pile of 6s, shall we? 4, 5, 6. And I go 4. Sure. Gives me the super goal. +3 to engineering. +5 kudos. Running around at the speed of sound. Yeah, this is definitely a long enough run that it's kind of annoying, honestly. Utopia. Utopia has sent a team of geologists to get a closer look at this region's weird terrain. When you come across them working, and Utopia beckons you over. Vissa, she says, drawing everyone's attention to you. Vissa, come here. Everyone, Vissa's been working in this area a while, and I'm sure she's got plenty of information on what's going on out here. Geologists politely turn towards you and listen. Here's what we've got so far, Utopia says, speaking directly to you. Judging from how the layers of sedimentation are broken up, this place used to be pretty flat, for there must have been a ton of earthquake activity, ripping up the land and bringing up these huge ridges. We can date the quakes around the time a lot of these ruins were created, she adds. And we're looking, but we haven't seen anything built after them. Like, that was it for the old convergent domain. These broken up layers are the same across the planet. Something sure happened about 20,000 years ago. Share your findings on the crystals. Plus 20 kudos. The crystals soak up energy from the sun, transferring underground, but what if that energy was unleashed suddenly? Utopia watches, bemused, as the geologists crunch numbers. Would have been an enormous amount of energy, but if this entire region was one big solar battery, that kind of energy, the energy of 2 suns, would definitely cause earthquakes of the magnitude that could rip the land apart. Help them work. Set up a drone hive to measure the sediment layers along the cliffside and learn a few things about rocks. Well, that was simple. And pay off for doing all the things we have out here. Which, you know, is good reason to keep doing that, but I'm tired. I don't want to do all of it. Not right now. Utopia's given you clearance to poke around the ruins in the Secret Valley. Stars, this place is neat. Just think so too. At least we didn't have to climb back down again, he mutters, but you can tell he's excited. The buildings are arranged in a spiral formation around a central point. They're made of that oil-slick obsidian, something that looks like petrified bone to have parts missing where some other organic material has long since rotted away. It's all overgrown with vines and buried in shifting sands. Follow the spokes of the streets until you approach the center of the valley where a large pyramid-shaped building sits surrounded by thumpers and a variety of other smaller buildings. Look at the pyramid, look at thumpers, pyramid. You walk all around the massive pyramid, but you don't see any entrance into it. It's sealed tight. It vibrates with significance and looms hugely in your dream memories. You feel faint just being close to it, but Dis doesn't seem to feel anything. When he insists you give up and investigate something else, you don't complain. No! Take a look at the thumpers. 4 thumpers are in careful alignment, forming a square with wide paths between them and the pyramid in the center. One is almost totally reduced to rubble, none are still active. Investigate the other buildings. Smaller, more deteriorated pyramid buildings dot around the valley, purposes unknown. There are also dozens of little obelisks, a couple meters wide, with a circular design on one side. You approach a random one of these on the edge of the valley, like the door in Dis's monitoring station. You know what to do. You get right up close to the circle and touch it, and the iris slides open. Now you're looking through a large, round door into a small, featureless room. Quite small, quite featureless. Totally dark, very creepy. You can hear a faint hum. Still powered? Bravely walk inside. Let's see. If I do that, new, okay. Sure. Start like that. 5, 5, 3. That becomes a 6. That also becomes 6. I do traits only have to go one direction. But yeah, that's probably the best I'm going to get there. Set neighbors to 6. I can do something with that. 6 and 6. That gives me another 6. That gives me, yeah. That seems good, but it's not the major one. We don't need it to be, though. +1 kudos, +1 bravery. You walk in, Dis close behind, and suddenly the iris closes. The floor lurches, and you're moving down. An elevator. The elevator squeals and grinds away like it hasn't been used in literally thousands of years. It doesn't go far, then grinds to a halt, and the iris opens to reveal a large room with obsidian walls. Like all convergent domain spaces, it's more cave than room, with stalactites everywhere and giant lumpy mounds of fungus. You wonder if the obsidian stuff they built with melts over time, running and dripping in extreme slow motion. There are consoles on the walls, like this is some kind of control room, just like in the monitoring station Dis found. Most of it's long dark and covered with a thick layer of dust, except one device with 2 weird bony knobby sticks poking out of it. Grab the 2 interface sticks, touch stuff at random. Grab 2 interface sticks. You're starting to get the hang of these convergent domain interfaces. You just take hold of these 2 sticky thingies and you cease to be yourself. You're like a visual, audio, and weirdly tactile representation of something vast. You have a feeling of being in a large and complex space. No, like you are the space, a digital space, like a computer system, as if you were sucked inside a 3D representation of the HoloNet and you could see files and processes and whole worlds of data, but in alien formats that speak to you more in sensation than logic. You let go of the sticks, and the console room comes back. You grab them again, and understanding fills your head. It feels not all that different from your bouts of deja vu remembering. Like of memories being inserted into your mind and you suddenly just know how to use this interface. You just think where you want to go or what you want to know and away you go. Only +2 engineering. The word array comes to mind. A network of computers hosting millions of data nodes, information on every part of the planet from weather to soil conditions to individual creatures. Not just computers, but entities that feel intelligent and also digital. Artificial consciousnesses like your ship's AI congruents. They're processing all that data and triggering subroutines to make minute changes on the planet's surface. Then a booming voice enters your brain and obliterates all else, speaking more in abstract thought than words, but loud. What are you doing in Wormhole Observatory Array Console 5, you nosy little creature? Then an explosion in your head, and you're thrown backwards and out of the array. There must have also been an explosion in your hands, which are now singed. The console is blown out and dead. You're shaken. Something didn't like you poking around in there. Whatever the array is, whatever lives in it, has been watching you, probably ever since you landed. You have a feeling Sim has something to do with this. He's either in league with the array, or he's part of it. But knowing Sim, he won't tell you anything, and he's ready to. You tell Dis about the array and the voice saying Wormhole Observatory. He looks around impressed. The convergent domain was up to some shit, he says. And now you know about the array and how to access it. That could come in very useful if it turns out to be a danger to your colony. You decide to call it a day. Your arms feel all tingly and weak from getting electrocuted, and your heart is still thumping a mile a minute, but you'll be back. Sounds like a good time to leave. Engineering is... yeah, it's at 20. It's Vertumnalia! In the midst of the colony decorating and setting out the food for the feast, you have trouble finding your festive spirit. Your dad's only been dead for a few weeks. How could anyone celebrate at a time like this? You gather in the colony square for the usual speeches. Lum takes the stage to fanfare and applause. Hello, people of Vertumna, he exclaims over the din. Happy Vertumnalia! He raises his hands to call for silence. Before we celebrate, I want to recognize those we lost this year. Head of Geoponics Geranium and Surveyor Imbroglio. The crowd goes silent for a minute. Your vision blurs with tears. How's this supposed to make you feel better that he's gone? This year has taught us that the aliens are more dangerous than we ever knew, Lum continues. It's not just the attacks during Glow. They're weaponizing the very air we breathe. But they won't win. Already we've discovered how to beat them at their own game. With everyone inoculated against the Shimmer, we're one step closer to total dominion over this planet. After the council members each give their annual reports, everyone starts clearing the square to set up for the Vertumnalia games. You feel the pulse of a new hollow message in your palm and open it up to read. Happy Vertumnalia. There's a present for you on the table. XOXO, your secret admirer. You rush over to the feast table and spot a wrapped present in amongst the roasted vegetables. Oh, you have a secret admirer? I have to assume it's Dis. +2 to the last card. Wow, that seems good. You unwrap your present. It's a data band. Snap it on your wrist and boot it up on your holopalm. It's full of all your favorite songs, videos, shows, and games. A collection curated by someone who must really know you. Now you'll always have your media with you, even if the net goes down, including all your favorite episodes of the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon. Nice! You search the holopalm for any hint as to who could have made it, but you can't find anything. You'll have to ask around, but later! The games are about to begin. Xeno wrangling. Nem and Vase are your competitors this year. They've both been training hard. Can't be any harder than wrestling you, Vase says, and Nem goes red and punches him in the arm. People watching gasp as the animal is brought out from the pens. It's a Unisaur, and a starving one from the looks of it. It growls and snaps its teeth at its handlers. Well, Unisaurs are docile creatures. Hungry Unisaurs are mindless rage machines. They eat like snakes, swallowing large prey whole and using their inner mouths to rip it up. This one is hungry enough to swallow you whole if it catches you. Luckily, this one looks so hungry that it's weaker than usual to give competitors a chance. Let's wrangle that Xeno. Cards with gems are wild. Okay. kind of like just be able to knock out 3 of a kind. Oh, actually. 9, 8, 7. Get that straight. Take advantage of Squidly. Let's see. 6, 6. Does count as a 4 of a kind. Can also do that. Sure. Milking the Squeeger. Plus that of the Thumper. 6, 6. Sure. No, wait, no. 42 versus 45. Okay. Done. Last swing the Unisaur is relatively easy, but you end up running around forever trying not to get skewered by its horn. You have to yank hard on the rope to wear it down before you can even try to ride it. There are a few moments where you realize your life is in actual danger. The Unisaur is no joke. You end up wounding the Unisaur with your clumsy attempts to wrestle it, but you didn't want to die. What were you supposed to do? After the festivities, everyone descends on the feast. You have a plate with more food than you could eat in 3 sittings. Everyone around you is so happy, but you can't help but notice the empty space where your dad should be sitting. It's your first holiday as an orphan. The other colonists try to make room for you in their conversation, but it's not the same. God. Okay, we are going to be wrapping up soon, but as usual, we're going to talk to people at the beginning of the month. You find Dis loading some equipment into an expedition's vehicle. He nods at you as you approach before going back to his work. Someone gave you a data band. It might have been Dis. Are you my secret admirer? This doesn't meet your eyes. So what if I was? Don't make a deal about it. So, after losing this much, Dis is not perfect, and I don't think he's actually good for Vissa, but Vissa just needs somebody. But I like you too. Dis stops and turns towards you, slowly, like you can't believe your words. What? Why? I just do. Dis looks at you in shock, then looks away, breathing out shakily. Okay, he mutters, his cheeks turning pink. Cool. I guess. Dis scuffs his boots in the dirt. It sucks here. Oh no, we've done this before. Dude. Come on. Dis's eyes light up when he sees your gift. Whoa, he says, taking them from you with uncharacteristic delight. Are these pieces of a jelly-arc root network? Or is it a dormant butterfly bush? Where'd you find these? I've given you so many of these. Why are you reacting differently now? This is absolutely spite at being ignored. Oh, that was a chance for me to basically ask out anyone. Oh, I'm kind of bummed I didn't go to Nem then. Oh well. First come, first serve, yada yada. You are mid-dust. It's your birthday. Nem pushes their sketchbooks and things aside and gestures for you to sit down. I'm so used to people not singing with me because I talk so much, they say without a hint of shame. I get it. I'm just a super high energy person. Always have been, ever since I was a kid. If I bother you, just tell me to be quiet. I don't mind. Here is a birthday present. So what tipped me off first was the fact that I saw I could talk to Rex, and now, of course, that's kind of gone. I think I actually want to put that gear on, though. So that's a +2 every single time. Problem with it is that's kind of hard to manipulate. But I'm already basically never getting my hands on any straights, so I think it works better like this. Alright, nobody else to talk to. We are 16.5. The rest of the game's gonna be kind of weird. We've maxed out half the stats, basically. We just would need to get empathy to max, but if you combine it in biology, our scores are capable of being maxed out in 6 spots. And that feels a little weird. Like, maybe correct for halfway through the game, but feels like... I did not expect to be able to get this fulfilled. Like I said, though, I am emotionally exhausted. And probably a bit physically, too, since I've recorded 5 episodes in one day. So, thank you all so much for watching. I am still so excited to see how the rest of this game goes. Probably going to do at least one bonus stream next time I sit down to record. Give myself some kind of break from this, but we'll see. I don't have to record for a bit, so maybe when I get back, I'll just be chomping at the bit. No matter what, though, I hope you all have the very best day you can. Take care.